Patients due for recall in January, we'll send them a postcard reminding them. If they don't show up, whatever, I mean, they don't have an appointment scheduled, so they don't call. Maybe 6 months later, we'll shoot them out another postcard, and if you're really, really good, you're going to call the patient. If you have the time, you're going to call the patient, see if you can get them back through the door. Not very comprehensive and completely dependent upon human beings. 21st century model is a little bit more comprehensive. Let's say they're due in February. In January, we're going to send them an email, if we have it, or a postcard telling the patient that they're due for recall. In the email, they even have the ability to click on a link that would allow them to schedule their appointment. We're going to do the same thing if they don't respond when they're 1 day past due, 6 months past due, 12 months past due. And then at 18 or 24 months, we're even going to send a comprehensive recall reactivation letter, which will combine the letter plus phone calls. So this process has zero interaction with staff. In fact, here's an example of even making it more comprehensive. We can mix in there between postcards and emails, even automated phone calls, or flag you, which is the next portion of it, the exception management portion of it, to make a phone call when you need to. So all of these steps are automated and customized. There is no human interaction whatsoever. So the key here, and we'll get to the social networking aspect in a minute, I haven't forgotten that, is that automation offers a huge reduction in staff time. It allows an office to communicate with patients by the patient's terms. Not everybody wants to get a phone call at dinner time. An email at 11 o'clock at night when the kids are in bed that they can confirm can be much more beneficial to a patient. Certainly it is for me. It promotes a high-tech image, which really isn't that much of an issue anymore in dentistry. It certainly was 10, 15 years ago. It promotes consistent, efficient business activities. These are the steps that need to occur in order to run an efficient dental office, all 138 of those steps per day. So if the staff is freed up to do the things like patient care, like dealing with customer service issues, with things that are happening right then and there, the immediate ramification stuff, and allow automation to take those other things and those peaks and valleys disappear, and it saves a ton of money, and I'll prove that to you a little bit later. So let's look at what automation does, or how it takes up the slack when you look back at those graphs that we looked at before. We have the same graphs here, employees, we have tasks not completed, but now we have this little red line, which is tasks completed by automation. It has almost completely filled in the discrepancy between what employees can actually complete and what needs to be done. And so staff still continues to do those things that have immediate ramification, and you allow the big red line here to complete those menial tasks. Now, this, again, looking at the sales pipeline chart, what we have is a continual growth or increase, which is this dashed green line, because those items that are have less ramification are still getting completed. So you're seeing an upward growth. Even though there's still going to be ebbs and flows, the average number of patients coming through the door is going to be higher. So this is a healthy dental practice, and really the only way to get here is by using some sort of tool to keep your practice consistent and efficient, and I would tell you that's automation. So we have this last one, automating prospect marketing. Now there's the traditional method, and then there's, of course, the automated method. We're going to talk about direct mail marketing, and we're going to talk about social media on how we can automate that. Traditionally, with direct mail marketing, you either send postcards yourself, which is very unlikely, or you hire some third party who gives you a proposal for how much it's going to cost for you to send out a list to X number of people per month. Most of these companies work by what's called shell printing, where you hire them, they print out a list for you, or they give you a list of the names, and then develop a postcard, print out 12 months worth, whatever number that may be, and then once a month they take out a certain number and send them per month for you. Some other companies will just send you the list of people, and you have to do your own postcard mailings. They'll give you the labels, you stick them on there, and you send them out. Very time consuming to do that. at least the second of the two methods there. But there are other issues involved in direct mail marketing, like who are you sending to? So when you're automating this process, this is kind of what it looks like. First of all, you want to use automation to determine who's attracted to your practice. Who should you send to? Where are they located? Who's most likely to appreciate my mailer? This is done by allowing the software to analyze your practice and determine who your ideal patient is. Then you want to manage this process. Just as an example, with our direct mail, we auto-scrub any list. So let's say we've determined that you're going to send to females between the ages of 30 and 45, and you're going to send in, 3 zip codes. We develop that list for you, upload it to the system. The system would take that list, the marketing list, and compare it with your patient list and remove any of your existing patients from the process. Then the marketing would automatically be sent out on your behalf, and then you'd be able to track the results, because when a new patient appoints, as soon as they've appointed, we would scrub your new patient list with the direct mail prospect list and determine if any of those patients came from your direct mail marketing. So that's how you automate it. How much have you done in that? In this case, really, your entire function is saying yes to the marketing piece and writing a check. Of course, you have to pay for these things. So that's kind of how automated direct mail marketing works. Now let's talk about how we'd automate social networking here. And the reason why I don't have traditional slide in here is because there really was no traditional social networking. I guess you could say that developing a Facebook page and asking people to, join it would be automated, or would be traditional social networking. Automating this process really takes it to a whole new level, and this is just an example of how it would work. Patient here checks out from their dental appointment. They just completed a dental appointment. Automatically, an email would be sent to the patient asking them to actually complete a review or a survey on your practice. So now what we've done is we're sending to every patient that's ever checked out a request for a review. The review becomes the trampoline on which this whole thing bounces off of. Once we get a review, now you can do a whole lot with it. It always requires office approval. If the review is bad, then the public doesn't see it. If the review is good, then you want to use that for automating your social networking. So in green, the step that you need to do, you didn't do this, this was done for you, sending the email. The only step you need to do in this process is approve the review. Once you've done that, it can automatically post to Rate a Dentist, which is your dental review site, your office webpage, to Facebook, and to Twitter. That easy. Now this Facebook and Twitter here are actually the patient's Facebook and Twitter page. Way more important for social network marketing than putting it on your Facebook and Twitter page, because each one of your patients has an average of 230 people that are on their Facebook page. So that means when they post a review that you've approved on their Facebook or Twitter accounts, now 230 eyeballs are seeing it. You extend that out, 230, let's say 2 to 4 reviews per day. You're looking at somewhere around 100,000 eyeballs per year looking at your reviews by using the patient's Facebook and Twitter pages to do that. In addition, on Rate a Dentist, they have access to your YouTube page, your Twitter page, your Facebook page. Of course, you get search engine optimization, which is SEO, because you're getting a lot of hits there, which is helping your web page as well as your Rate a Dentist account and bumping you up on the Google search engine. So everything with social networking starts with the patient checking out, and the only thing you need to do is approve the review. The rest is completed for you automatically, which I think is one of the coolest steps in automation, is the ability to use it for marketing. So that covers the time aspect, how we can improve the time involved in whether it be a new patient appointment or making sure that you have your social networking site set up. The other aspect is decision making, right? And we talked about exception management. So let's talk about exactly how exception management works. I know this slide may be a little convoluted, but but I promise I'll explain it to you. Basically, just to reiterate, social networking is simply that you allow the software to automate your dental office. When there's an exception to the automation rule, that's when the software lets you know that you need to get involved. And so that's what this graph is showing here, that we have a patient in blue and the office in blue and this big bubble around it, which is exception management. Exception management is constantly analyzing your software and flagging you when things need to get done, which is what we're seeing here. Patient just turned 18. Exception management software is going to say, oh, we need a HIPAA document signed. It's going to tell you to take action, and it's going to send that email to the office, and in some circumstances it'll send things to the patient depending on the scenario. Family member is due for recall, not scheduled. Well, Joe's coming in today. Let's see if Bobby the son can come in too to fill that hole. Bam. Exception management kicks in and tells you to take action. No email on file. Let's get an email address. The patient comes into the office. Right there you'll be flagged that you should get an email address from the patient. So that's how exception management works, is that it's constantly analyzing your practice and making sure that you have the information you need at your fingertips when you need it. All of this stuff is in your software. The problem is you have to go get it, and that increases the amount of time it takes to manage the dental practice. And what we're trying to do is reduce that. Now this other thing over here, you have manage your doctor. That's automated accountability. If action is requested to be taken and it isn't, or if it has been taken, whatever the case may be, that's going to show up on things like an automated accountability report so that you can see if things are being done when exception management is flagging those things as needed to be completed. So, why automate? Simple. Time savings, quick decision making, and I think the largest portion of it all is it is way cheaper than any alternatives. In fact, on average, it's going to cost you about $2,700 a year to use the tools and techniques that I've described in this webinar. $2,700, less than $3,000 per year, to have somebody pick up all of those menial tasks that are probably not getting completed now. And even if your office is completing more than what I've put here in the average, I doubt very seriously that 148 tasks are being completed per day. So the key here is that a automated system allows you to outsource a significant amount of work to your computer to complete, making sure that your practice runs efficiently. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it that there are so many tasks associated with dentistry. We have created a task, a responsibility worksheet, which will go through and analyze all the different tasks associated with the dental practice. If you'd like to get a hold of that and test to see exactly how many you have in your practice, and I think what you're going to find is that many of the tasks on that list you don't even have anyone responsible for. That tends to happen. And so if that's the case, if there's no one responsible for it, then it's certainly not getting done unless it gets completely out of control. So, so take the next step. Send an email to sales@Lighthouse PLZ, lighthouseplease.com, and we'll send you that task list. Or give us a call at 888-427-5454 and dial extension 4. And also check out the webpage justsayplease.com. Now, if you want more information on Please, if you'd like to go through maybe a more comprehensive demo and exactly how our software works, great. We do all this stuff, but we do a whole lot more than just this as well for $199 a month without a contract. So feel free to call Jim or myself, and we'd be glad to talk to you in more detail about it. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. Hopefully we'll have some more coming up in the very near future where we'll cover other maybe business-related tasks, social networking tasks, and things along those lines. Lastly, rateddentist.com. That was one of the sites I put up there in the social networking page. Whether you sign up for $199 a month or not for Please, Rated Dentist is completely free. You should at least claim your listing and start getting those requests out to your patients. Now, automating the requests is part of our software, but you can still manually do it. Again, just remember the time issue and whether or not it's worth saving $2,700 a year to have, these things fall through the cracks. So I appreciate it. Take care. We'll see you soon.